Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now on my channel I do all things crafty, but on today's video I'm going to do a sublimation project. Now I made a couple of these before. These are some frosted glass jars. I think they turned out really cute. But today I'm actually going to use this Go to Craft tumbler press. Now this is an auto rotate tumbler press. So in addition to this press, I'm going to use some heat resistant gloves. I've already cut out my design, but I will show it to you when we get moving through the video. I want to point out something about this design to you. I'm going to use some heat resistant tape. I'm going to go ahead and clean my mug with some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. And then to cut down my design, I used a cutting mat, a rotary cutter, and then I used a ruler with the cork on the back. So if this is something that you're interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get started. In the past, when I've done frosted tumblers or frosted jars, I really like to use a dark design because you get such great contrast. I think they show up on frosted glass really well. Well, today's design is a little bit different. It'll actually be my first project using something a lot lighter than a really dark image. And here it is. Of course, because this is sublimation, I had to mirror my design so it looks backwards. This is a design that I got from Creative Fabrica. I will put a link to it, but I want you to know, I don't think this is a great quality image. The resolution seems to be pretty low, and I actually had to retype the 3 paragraphs because so many of the letters ran together. Let me show you what I mean about the resolution. If you check at the black outline on some of these flowers, you'll see that it just looks like it's not a great quality. Now, despite that, I thought it was super cute. I thought the sentiment was great, so I'm going to go ahead and try it out. Now, here's my frosted glass jar. And the first thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and clean anything that I'm going to sublimate. And to do that, I use 90% rubbing alcohol. Now, I just got this at Walgreens, Walmart, someplace like that. But it is 90% rubbing alcohol. So I like to just spray a little bit on a paper towel. And I do this whether I'm doing frosted glass, regular sublimation tumblers, almost any hard surface that I sublimate, I go ahead and clean it with alcohol. All right, you want to make sure that you let this dry before you put your image on it. If any of this alcohol gets on your design, it's going to ruin it. Now for that reason also, don't have your image anywhere close when you're actually cleaning your substrates. Now I went ahead and let my jar dry all the way off, and I'm just going to take my image, and I want to make sure that the main part of it, so I feel like this is the main part, I want to make sure that doesn't go over a seam. So there's a seam here and there will be a seam here. So I'm going to place a good part down on that focal point, and then let's just wrap this around. Try to get it a little bit more straight than that. And you can tell I didn't cut it straight. I wasn't too worried about it because it's not a full wrap design. It's not like you have an image going all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom that you have to worry about matching up. Just want to make sure that I have most of this design on the flat part of this frosted jar. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a fairly short piece of this tape, place it on the part of the paper that's on top, and then just like when I'm doing tumblers, I want to squeeze this together. I'm going to pull on this tape and get it pretty tight. I'll go ahead and put another piece at the top and then another piece at the bottom. All right, let's check and make sure it's in a good place. It feels like it is. So now I'm going to take one piece, go around the top, and one piece and go around the bottom. Now I say one piece. I might actually do it in two pieces. Let's just see what happens. Now I want to focus right here because I see to my bestie, and that's the highest part. So I want to make sure this is very smooth against the tumbler or the jar. So I'm going to kind of stretch on it, place that down, and then hold on to it, hold on to the paper, and just stretch it around. Kind of like what I do with tumblers. All right, let's peel this back a little bit. I didn't stretch this half of it. So now I'm going to pull and stretch on it. And that's it for the top of this glass jar. Again, my words are right here, so I want to make sure that is really flat against this jar. Now let's do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to focus where the words are. And then let's just stretch this tight. I'll stretch this side tight. And because there's no part of the design close to the bottom, I'm not concerned about those little puckers. As long as here where the words are, there's no puckers. And as long as there's no puckers up here, I think I'm going to be fine. Now, let's go ahead and just roll that around on the table to make sure it's really taped down well. And then it's time to go ahead and turn on the press. Okay, that feels nice and tight. Now with this Go to Craft press, there's 4 modes that are already preset. Mode 1 is for stainless steel tumblers. Mode 2 is for glass cans, that's what I'm using today. Mode 3 is custom. They already have it set to 90 seconds. It rotates once, then 30 seconds at 320 degrees Fahrenheit. And then mode 4 is for ceramic mugs. Those have a handle. So on the first 3 modes, it's going to heat up. You're going to close it. After the first time is up, it opens, it rotates, it closes again, and then it does the additional time that you see listed here. On the ceramic mug, it's not going to rotate because of that handle. Now, you can adjust the temperature, the time, or the pressure if you find that the presets just don't work for your blanks. For today, I'm going to go ahead and use what they have here because this is my first glass mug in this press. Now here's a better look at what I was showing you earlier. You can see that number 2 mode is for glass cans. That's what we're using today. The temperature that it's preset to is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and use that today since it's my first time to do one of these glass jars in here. It's going to heat for 180 seconds. It'll open, it'll rotate. When it closes, it heats for 50 more seconds. And then it is set to a pressure of 60. Now the on-off switch is in back, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. It's a little rocker switch. And then this would be mode 1, mode 2, which we're going to use today, mode 3 that you can customize, and you can actually customize any of these, and then mode 4 for the ceramic mug. Let's go back to mode 2. It's going to heat up to 350. Again, the first press will be for 180 seconds. Now, most presses tell you to have something inside of it while it's heating up. So I just have this tumbler that I use over and over to let my presses heat up. Now that's up to temperature. I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and then I'm going to place this in with the seam over to the left side. Then the start button's up on top. Let me go ahead and press that. It's going to close up and we'll do the first press. Now notice there's a pretty big gap there. We are going to rotate, we're going to heat the whole thing, and so hopefully that will not cause an issue. We'll see in just a few minutes. This is heating for 180 seconds. It's going to open up, rotate, close, and then it'll press for 50 more seconds. At that time, I'm going to go ahead and take this out and let it cool down for probably about 10 minutes. We're down to just a few seconds, so let's watch this open up and spin. If I don't like the placement when it's done spinning, I can push the stop button. All right, I'm fine with that. Mainly, I don't want the seam in front. That's just something that I don't like. I like to have the seam somewhere inside. Now notice with this short glass jar that the gap at the top is different than the gap at the bottom. We're going to see in a little bit if that caused a problem. Now remember, this time we are just pressing for 50 seconds. Once it's done, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to set it on something to protect my table. So in this case, I just have a little Cricut heating pad or a pressing mat. Now you can kind of look down in the middle. I think it looks pretty good. Like I talked about earlier, I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes before I take the tape off. It is extremely hot and this glass really retains the heat. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes so we can check it out. All right, time to see how this turned out. I am so excited. Now when I open the paper up, I'm going to be a little bit careful in case I think I need to close it back up and press some more. 350 seems a little bit low to me. Hopefully though it turns out well. Okay, that looks really good. That looks really nice. Now I see some paper remnants on here, so I'll clean that off. But look how cute that is. And that looks good all the way from the bottom to the top. So cute. All right, well, I'm happy with how this turned out. If you're interested in checking out the Go to Craft Press, I do have a link to it in the video description. Again, I will put this design in the video description. Just realize I retyped that and the design's not super high quality. For this, it worked fine, and so I will go ahead and link it. Thanks so much for joining me, and until my next video, bye-bye.